Alright, I am back. I am going to bring you today a battle replay, or two, depending on how I feel. Yeah, let's do two. First one's going to be a Fall versus a Fall of the Samurai General. Again, I know, but they pop up a lot more than usual. It goes by the name of Luxors. So, this... I don't mean to say that this guy in specific, but a lot of people tend to do it. A lack of cavalry is often used by Fall of the Samurai generals, which is it's just bad. It's not. It kills the lack of mobility, which, if you lose mobility in a match, the other person basically you're at their whim. It's one of those. It's hard to explain exactly, but when you lose all your cav units, you basically lose the ability to hammer an anvil, which, yeah, it makes sense. Alright, I'll show you what I mean. Alright, Luxor's units. Doesn't look like that bad of an army at first, right? You've got Matchlock Catchy up front. They suck. I don't understand why you have them. You can buy, 100 range. They fire and reload, and they're as accurate and they reload as fast as Bo Ashigaru, and these things are probably a bit more expensive. Then you've got some Vermilion Bird Force. He happens to have 3 of them, which it's not a bad place to have. These guys are pretty cool. They're good melee. Well, fair in melee anyhow. Pretty accurate, fairly good reload. Then he's got 4 White Tiger Force. These things are basically infantry level. They're not worth much. So he could have easily brought it if he had them, I guess, because we're both like level 4 or level 5, something like that. And he could have brought better units for it. And now he's got 2 Sharpshooters, which I never liked because you can sell or you can buy so much more units for the price these are. That's like this one being an old upgrade. This would be like 1,050 Koku. 2 upgrades fully healed. This would be 1,100 Koku for here, and 150 range for probably about maybe a couple hundred Koku more. You can get, assuming you've unlocked it, you can get elite infantry, whether it's British, American, or French Marines. They have a lot more men. They're better to melee. You can upgrade them at the first chevron to 150 range, better reload, better accuracy, just overall better for a little bit more expensive. These guys aren't worth the bang for their buck, and they're terrible in melee. Now he's got an Armstrong gun, 1 Armstrong gun. I understand this is probably one of those, well, I brought this last battle, I've got a little bit money left over, I can bring them now. I've thought about doing some things like that, but I naturally never have anyone hurt enough, or they're too hurt and I can't bring them. And then there's some Yariki, which that's his only cav unit. This is what I mean. He's got 1 cav unit, and he's got it set up to where, yeah, it's supporting his Armstrong gun, but he quickly moves it away. Now, when I'm talking cavalry going against it, I've got 4 units of light cav. Looking at the stats, yeah, his is better, but 4 units, if you win the charge, that's gonna easily do that'll do about 32 flat out damage, whereas the Yariki will do about 40 flat out. That's if they win the charge. If I get a successful charge off here, it's gonna do a lot of damage. So my main army, I've got 3 Bo Ashigaru. A little bit more range than his guys. I can throw them off a little bit. I can throw my arrows out a bit quicker. I've got my bullet shields here. My Yari Ashigaru. What fun. That's all I use them for. They're not making me food. They're not making food for my army, so what else are they going to do except for keep my army alive, right? By dying for them. I've got some bulletproof samurai here. I need to change their name to bullet fodder. I'm doing that next time. And then I got 3 unvetted katana samurai and 2 nagi samurai and my bodyguard. My army is a lot more balanced compared to his. Especially because he has no units, minus the Yariki, that are in a melee. That's another thing that a lot of Fall of the Samurai armies don't do, is bring a good melee contingent. I would bring maybe stick with like a 3 Vermilion Bird Force, maybe try bringing, if they're allowing it, bring a 4th one, or bring 4 fairly good melee units, or 4 fairly good ranged rifle units, and then let them come at me, and I'll bring some Shogutai out, or Katana Kachi. They work a lot better. Now, what he's doing right now is Matchlock Kachi are coming. They're gonna try taking the workshop, and he's moving his Yariki over to support. As far as he knows, I've only got two light calf, but I've got 2 hidden in the woods. So I'm springing nice, lovely traps. What I'm doing here is I'm moving 1 light calf to dismount, capture the workshop, get quick. Why not? Get some extra armor and melee defense. These guys, I moved my light cav over just because I could. I shortly realized that I can't defend anything. I can't defend these light cav from that direction, so I moved them over to the other side. My main army, I'm moving to capture the farmhouse because I'm going to need a little bit extra stamina and movement speed when I charge in melee. His guys, his sharpshooters are coming around the preliminary defense to an all-out attack, and unsurprisingly, he placed him in somewhere to where there's no good line of sight. If he had moved him up here, it would have been a different issue. He could have, if I charged straight forward, I could have gotten a lot of good shots off. But here, I'd have to crest the hill, or I'd have to come up and like crest almost at the slope to do anything. So right here now, his Matchlock Kachi are getting close. What he's trying to do is take his Yariki to charge and get rid of my light cav, not knowing I've got 2 more in reserve, and his Matchlock Kachi are going to try shooting out my light cav. None of this actually works because I've got those 2 guys in the back. So, believing that these are the only cav I've got, one's preoccupied, the other is running. He sticks with the charge. I get it to where he's close to my own guys. I pop my light cav out of the woods and recharge him. So I get my charge bonus as well as he does. He wins the charge, of course, because he's got a better bonus versus cav, but I've got 2 light cav on his Yariki. I bring 1 light cav off against his Matchlock and just utterly demolish their ranks. And this guy, he's going to come over and reinforce my light cav over again in the fight for the Yariki. One of my guys actually does route. The other one, he's only broken. He's not necessarily routed yet. So I just swap my Yarikis, or my light cav spots. The one that's down went up to hit up the Matchlock Kachi a little bit, and then the higher life one went and helped finish off the Yariki. So I've eliminated his mobility in this fight. He isn't the limit of my light cav, which against Fall of the Samurai Army's light cav is very, very efficient. It's 400 Koku. I don't bother upgrading them. I mean, what are you going to do with an upgrade? Give them speed? I mean, 500 Koku for... they're not that... these guys already outrun everyone in the game anyhow. It's not really worth upgrading them, in my opinion anyway. You guys can experiment with that. It's really up to you. But his Matchlock Kachi came back from routing. Not a big deal. And he's realized I can't do anything with these guys out here. I got to bring them back to my main army. And I don't want 44 men to shoot at me maybe once or possibly twice during my mass charge. I want to keep some of my peasants alive so I can die a later day for my samurai. Yeah, that's really kind and caring, isn't it? But they're gone, so all opposition is eliminated. I've got the workshop. I've also got the farmhouse. His Armstrong gun, it's not doing much damage. He's targeting my Yari Ashigaru, which he barely hits. He's gotten about 12 kills on that one, a couple kills on my Bow Ashigaru. It would make more sense to target my better units. My samurai in the back, they're clumped up. Even my general, which he's trying to do now, but that goes to show you how inaccurate everything is. And he's not hitting very much. He actually did hit 1 bulletproof samurai, but kill-wise, he's got 28 kills at this point. And he's... okay, I think that went up to 35. That's the majority. I think that's the most kills he actually has in the whole battle. So, 38 I think was the highest. But anyway, bringing artillery, it also eliminates your mobility, because if you can't maneuver. Had I been followed the samurai and brought artillery, I would probably ended up putting it about here. I wouldn't move very much from this spot. It'd be who wants to eliminate their who wants to open up their flank to, or who wants to open up their artillery to potential cav attacks. And if you have no cav, then basically you're screwed. So he's finally making a line. I'm moving my guys over. It's going to be easier to charge coming off of a hill and over a flatland than down a hill, up a hill, and through a river. Off to grandmother's house we go. Whatever, sounded cool at the time. But he's trying to get a makeshift line. He's moving his Vermilion Bird Force to try to counter my light cav, which I understand what he's doing here. He's hoping that I would charge my guys straight forward, bringing his elite soldiers up to basically shoot him before they cross the river, or to do too much damage, rout him, and keep my cav from being live. But I would not have that, so I ran him around the other side. I can't do anything with him up here. I've got the boundary, can't go past that. They won't be able to sneak across the river without getting shot at. It's not worth keeping them around. And then the Vermilion Bird Force over here, he makes another dire mistake when he decides to move his guys. He's going to be moving them over to this side of the river, which it does save his men in the future, but it saves these units in the future, but it keeps them from being used elsewhere, like in the middle or on the flanks where it can do the most damage. They're off to the side. So I'll show you in the unit statistics how much damage they actually didn't get a chance to do. But his sharpshooters, they're just kind of chilling around. They haven't had any reason to move yet. But again, line of sight. If I had just charged right now, his White Tiger Force, they probably wouldn't fire, but if they did, they'd hit the backs of his men. They wouldn't be able to go above it. And then, there are quite a few. Up there it's good line of sight wise, but as it gets toward this side, there's no line of sight until I crest a hill. And that just means even less room for them to shoot me at. So back to my cav, which I did spend a lot of time actually controlling these. So my main body of the army is just gonna be sitting around waiting for a while. Alright, I figure the best way to get rid of Fall of the Samurais, or their army's strength, which is brute force up the middle, which gunpowder. Anything in front of them will do a lot of damage. Will basically be torn to shreds. Well, it depends on if they're in loose or tight formation, but that's something different entirely. But to keep my cav from being torn to shreds, I'm separating them out. I've got one cav unit, one of my nearly full cav units over on this side. I've got my mostly depleted cav unit chilling in the middle, and my other nearly full cav unit going all the way around to the left flank. The goal with this, and it actually worked, is his units are splitting up. I've got sharpshooters set on my depleted unit. The Vermilion Bird Force is coming over to protect his Armstrong guns against my other cav unit, and this cav over there hasn't been defended. You're not really gonna. If you attack here, yeah, you've got a handful of these guys to protect, and maybe you can pull these in time. But when it comes down to micromanaging, I've fallen guilty to it. You miss a lot of things, and he missed quite a few when it came to my cav. And when micromanaging cav like this, to where he needs a lot of attention to react, is a great time to send your main body of the army to attack his units. So I'm gonna be bringing my cav. They're flanking around, sweeping around now. I'm gonna be bringing them in to attack his Armstrong guns. His Vermilion Bird Force, they would be fine staying right there, but he wanted to move them even closer, so they couldn't get time to ready and set yet. So I'm charging these guys in. They're just gonna do a lot of damage to his Armstrong guns, rout his Armstrong guns, and do a fair amount of not really a fair amount, they do minimal damage to the Vermilion Bird Force, but I get rid of his pesky artillery. Now, while he's busy micromanaging over there, he somehow has these guys set to move forward, probably up to a hill, maybe to get a better shot at them, but he forgot about this light cav. And because he's busy micromanaging the Vermilion Bird Force and not looking around the whole battlefield, I gave up. The light cav are 400 koku. I'll sacrifice 400 koku to get rid of a sharpshooter. Easy, any day. Especially when he's only broken. He'll probably come back, and he does. So I tear through the lines of the sharpshooter, through the ass end, and right up the front, I throw another light cav. Even though they're already shattered beyond belief, just throw them in there just for safe measure. And they're basically going to be getting out. And now I'm thinking a great time to actually send my units forward. While he's busy focusing over there, shortly I will be shortly in the match, I will be moving my main brunt of the army. In other words, my bullet fodder, Ashigaru. They'll just charge forward. I'll save a little room for my samurai. They eventually will make a break. They'll charge forward a little bit later. But his Vermilion Bird Force on the side, they're basically protecting against a flank attack through here, off to the side, but I'd only do that for cav. I wouldn't bring perfectly good samurai off this way. So these guys, since they came back, he wasn't really expecting them. His Vermilion Bird Force couldn't ready up quick enough. So I got a charge and 2 frontal charges on him and a rear charge, which doesn't necessarily kill them, but it gives them it knocks out a fair amount of men and gives them a fairly big morale hit. Now, I'm moving my I'm moving the main body of my army around, and I've basically, I didn't care if these guys routed or not because I've already done a lot of damage. They could have routed and I would have still won fine. Even though it means these pesky sharpshooters would have had a little bit more trouble to deal with. But, I mean, I've got plenty of Ashigaru. I can even send my bow Ashigaru all the way up, even though that's what it looks like right now. I've just got them stopped to just duke it out with their rifles, just because they'll fire a little bit quicker, just get a couple of volley, maybe 2 in before my Yari Ashigaru hit. And now he's finally realized that this was a bad position to have his guys in. So he's starting to reposition them to move across the water. So another mistake that a lot of people make in general, when you get into a melee scuffle like this with rifle units, when you, like in this case, when his guys his units follow in front. Where if you have everyone forgets guard mode, at least a lot of people forget guard mode. I'm victim to this too, but I mean, yeah, it gives them their 2 or 3 charge bonus on the attack. Okay, 8 charge bonus. That gives them 11 base attack against 25 for my Katana Samurai, including the charge. But it's not really worth having. It's easier just to put them all on guard in the beginning. That way you can run them away quicker. It works especially for a cav too. So I'm taking out his sharpshooters, then my light cav coming in, and my samurai just demolishing them up there. And the battle's basically over. He's got 3 Vermilion Bird Force left. One of them is going to be cut down by my katanas. The other one's actually going to be. The other one's shortly going to be made short work of my katana. Not short work. These guys are the last ones. These guys are the last ones in the whole fight because they've got 15 morale, and they inspire their units. They more or less inspire each other. I've mopped up the rest of his army. His general, his bullshit militia, his Vermilion Bird Force that was chilling over here, all his White Tiger forces. He's got nothing on this side. Now all I've got left to do is just converge all my melee units on those 2 while duking it out. If it were just these 4 units, you would definitely win due to sheer volume of accuracy, reload skill, and just the fact that they're gunpowder. It scares the hell out of my units. That's why these guys are already broken. It's 79 units. Or 79 guys still. But they come back eventually. So the battle's mine when I charge in. And not all the units, but a lot of units in Fall of the Samurai are weak against melee. So getting into a melee is the key to beating a Fall of the Samurai general. And a lot of Fall of the Samurai generals don't bring any melee troops themselves. I always make it a habit to bring a couple of Katana Kachi or even Shogatai or even the Ishinshimi Police Force or whatever the hell they are. They've got a lot of letters, and they come from Kyoto. That's all I can tell you. But it's having units that are good to melee, like legit good to melee. That's why I always prefer the Marines when I get elite units, because they last longer to melee. Even though the French, they can rout people before they get into a melee. But it's one of those, it's easier just to have troops that are better in a melee. Even though, yes, if you're line infantry on a melee, you can be doing something wrong. It's better than not to have good melee units as backup, just for when shit hits the fan. And spears, even if it's just spear levy, having spears chosen by your general, chosen by your artillery, chosen by anyone who wants to, by anyone that you want that might be susceptible to cavalry attack, whether it be, I mean, even archers or the back end of your rifles. All right, now before I get on too much of a tangent, I'll show you what I mean by how in the Vermilion Bird Force you've got 110, 83, and 60. I can almost guarantee you that the 83 and 60 were the ones that crossed the river. The 110, these guys are the ones that I'm pretty sure these guys took out my light cav. I mean, then you get sharpshooters, 68 kills and 0 kills. That just goes to show you how unuseful they are. They're bad in a melee. It's just worthless in my opinion. And then my light cav, this is why I say mobility is great. 136, 128 kills. Just 2 of my 4 light cav almost having more kills than my entire army. Like, than every unit in my army. That's why you need extreme mobility, which, and against a Fall of the Samurai, I prefer light cav. I mean, a lot of times they're not going to have good cav anyway, and if they do, I have spear units to protect my army in case. Alright, I'll show you one more replay, and it's going to be against a Shogun 2 army. I just played this one, Jugs 27. It was a fairly interesting battle. For a while, I wasn't sure how it was going to turn because my guys were wavering for a lot of it. I honestly thought he would have had it, but he and I also had the same tactic of hiding cav, and he also had quite a few he also had quite a few of units hidden as well. Some, sword attendants he had hidden. I think he had a spear levy hidden back in the back. So he had the general idea, even though this was a Shogun 2, or not spear levy, whatever the fuck it's called. But I mean, hiding units is always fun in my opinion, but it really just depends on how well you hide them. So unit wise, I'll show you what he's got first. Well, that's out. I mean, Yari Cav right away. I mean, probably what he tried to do is tried to hide him in here, and he didn't have him over enough. Or, I mean, because he already did it before me, he probably just wasn't paying attention, or he just wanted me to see him. He's got a handful of bow samurai, which, I mean, upgraded, yeah, extremely fast reload, pretty accurate. These guys aren't something to be messed with, and they've got fire arrows, but, yeah. Quite a few Yariashi Garu are chilling up here. He's got a couple of katana samurai, bodyguard. Back here, I'm pretty sure he's got 1, maybe 2. I think he's got 1 Yari Cav and a sword attendant back here, as well as I think he's got another Yari Ashigaru hidden back here somewhere. What I've got 2 Yari Cav hidden off. They've got 1 chevron each. I upped their charge bonus. I've also got some Bo Ashigaru, my 2 vet ones with 45 reload. So I'm a match for the ones. I'm not a match for this one, but I'm better reload than this one, but they're more accurate than me. I've got a handful of Yari Ashigaru, my long Yari, and 2 regular. I've got a couple of katana samurai, a couple of nagi samurai, and my bodyguard. And it's a fairly balanced army, which I was planning on it. Oh yeah, another units I forgot. My Wacko Raiders and my bandits. I've said it before. I love hiding these guys. I mean, I love having them together because the Wacko Raiders, they amazed me in this battle alone. They held off some Yari Cav actually, which I didn't expect. But a great combination to take out one, maybe two units, depending on what they are. So right off, we make a bid for the Morale Shrine. He makes this quick with the Yari Cav, just bolting for it. Instead of running all the way up, I'm just gonna have my Bow Ashigaru whittle him away. And because of that, I mean, this is basically where the front lines are drawn. My front line, like my base, like safe line, is right here. His is basically on this side of the dojo. So I'll just fast forward a bit to actually get to some action, because not much happens for a bit. For a little, it's just, and right here I move my units forward, and I'm trying to micromanage elsewhere at the time. So I didn't realize I was in range of his bow samurai. So they're just starting to tearing my guys apart. And he's actually smart. He's attacking my katana samurai. He also is attacking my long Yari Ashigaru, which that's a smart move. These guys will hold the front line. So this is where I was micromanaging. Just telling you that they can hold off. My Wacko Raiders held off Yari Cav, and the original charge was devastating. It took down about just over a quarter of their men. So these guys, yeah, they're shaken, but in an all-out melee, I will inevitably win. I mean, they've got 5 melee attack. I've got 16. So in a prolonged melee, there's no way they're gonna win. And I'm patiently keeping my Yari Cav hidden just because I'm fairly certain at the time he's got more Cav, and I don't want to risk any of that. Now I decide it's time to bring the fight to him, because yeah, he's winning the bow battle flat out. So I bring more men on the right side because it's bigger, even though it's more tough on the left. He's throwing Yari Ashigaru at me. I've got Yari Ashigaru at him and some beat up Yari Ashigaru and some kind of beat up Katana Samurai. I mean, he's just throwing his garbage at me right now. He's throwing his samurai at me as well. Honestly, I'll admit, I was a little worried on my left flank once his Katana Samurai came in. But the right flank, I figured I had the right flank down in the bag. Yari Ashigaru and Katana Samurai against Long Yari, regular Yari, and then Katana, as well as a Nagi coming up in reserve. I had no doubt I was going to win that fight. So I ended up scaring off his light cav, or his Yari Cav, took the sword dojo, and I'm making my bid for the farmhouse now. He's pulling his bodyguard up again, rally his troops and everything. And he's pulling over some Katana Samurai just chilling. They're chilling off to the side. I didn't understand why. He would have made a lot better use of them in this brawl. So if he had 2 Katana Samurai against my Katana and Naginata, I'm fairly certain he would have won. Alright, there we go. So I remember, okay, yeah, he attacked him and he must have pulled him out afterwards. So I thought that his Yari Cav, they just ran off and were done with. I wasn't expecting more. I kind of was, but I wasn't expecting more to come out. So I figure my Wacko Raiders held it off before. I will make them align again and just let the Yari hit me and just start attacking with my bandits. And it's almost time for me to pop my Cav out. So yeah, wavering, of course, that's what happens when you get hit by a Yari Cav attack. But the longer the melee battle goes, the higher the morale inches. These guys' morale gets a little bit lower just because it's a prolonged melee. So yeah, I've popped my Yari Cav. I brought my general over to originally it was to inspire the Wacko Raiders, but it turned around I could easily just take out these Katana Samurai instantly. This flank is becoming tougher and tougher. The Yari Ashigaru holding on quite tough. Katana Samurai and more Yari Ashigaru are running in the battle. My Samurai are doing fairly well on that flank. This flank I'm not worried about much anymore. I mean, I'm down to my Nagi Samurai, but even then, it's still not much to worry about. Now, I missed the micro right here. My avatar got attacked by his Yari Cav, which I figured it's not a bad thing, And my general, I mean, yeah, he's leadership. He's not going to stand up to much of a fight, but I've got Yari Cav quick and support. I'll just toss them in and pull my general out, and it worked fine. He got hit by a massive charge, and it knocked him out immediately. I brought my confident that I was fairly certain that all of his cav were gone. I brought my Yari Cav in just to demolish his bow samurai, wreak havoc, and it's basically just run my guys up to his bow samurai, which they will not handle well again in a melee. I mean, tired samurai, but I mean it was more or less in the bag. Now he pulls out some more Yari Eshigaru, and he pulls out some sword attendants as a last-ditch effort. I know the sword attendants, I can take them out quick with my Yari Cav and not need to worry about spears piercing, basically just stabbing, or skewering rather, my horses, so whatever. I'll just go back, take the attendants out, charge my Wacko Raiders in there, even though these guys are making a bid for the main battleground. I meet them halfway. I basically just bring everyone in here. I break them with a bullshit Yari Cav charge. So it's not hard. I mean, Shogun 2 on Shogun 2, you just need a better balanced army, and again, win the Cav battle. Now, popping my Cav when I did probably saved it. If I had waited, he could have waited longer and done the same to me. Just ambush the Cav. Once I took my Wacko Raiders, took his main Cav, or took the first Cav down to barely anything, and I took my general, basically distracted his other Cav to where they could be demolished. I was fairly confident I was going to win the battle, because he had spears, but because I had two fairly good Yari, well, not fairly good, I mean only one upgrade, but I had 2 Yari Cav. I was fairly confident that I would be able to win the battle rather easily if I had just attacked, or if I had just kept doing hammer and anvil strikes. So, unit-wise, or statistic-wise, I mean, Yari Cav, 6 losses, 153 kills. That in itself, that's almost twice of what they had. I got Yari Cav, 110 kills, 17 losses. This is what I'm talking about with Cav is essential. I mean, I go down and look at his Yari Cav. He just got over a 1-1 kill death ratio here. I mean, yeah, kill death ratio, that's kind of stupid comparing in this, but he took down 60 of my guys with that Yari Cav, and his other Yari Cav hit 41 rather. I mean, that just goes to show, and this also goes to show which ones he pulled last. He pulled outside last. His army was a lot more bow heavy, and as soon as I got into a melee, I was confident that I would win. He had only a couple of katana samurai, and that was it. My Nagi samurai, they were high kills, low death because of their armor. I'm a big fan of Yari samurai for that reason. Alright, well, those are my replays for you. Hopefully you'll learn from the mistakes that others have made. I'll be sure if I make some mistakes, I'll put it up on the channel just so you can see that I've learned, see what mistakes I can find, and I can prove that I learned from them eventually. So, if you want to see any specific battles, or if you want to see any, if you want to see, maybe naval battles or siege battles, let me know. I'll try hitting some up. If you want to see any campaigns, I'll probably get one of those going. Just give me a game to play. I've got all the Total War minus the original Shogun. If you want, I'll pop a campaign through those, play it all the way through. Or if you want to see another game, pop a request. I might have it, I might not, and if it'll make me money, I might buy it. So, just let me know what you guys want. I might be able to send it your way. Thanks for watching. Like, favorite, subscribe, all that good jazz. I will see you guys next time.